皆さんこんにちは。IU-Connectの朝です。
のりこです。すずです。
前回の動画は初対面の会話を学んだんですけど、今日からそれぞれのトピックを深掘りして詳しく学びましょう。今回のレッスンでは英語で仕事の話を学びましょう。Today, Noriko, we're going to look at how to talk about work because, well, it's really important. It's the topic everybody talks about.
本当に仕事の話聞いちゃっていいの？
Yeah, I mean, in Japan, you don't talk about your work?
あんまり話さない初対面では。
Really? Okay, well, actually, so talking about work is actually really important because especially when you talk with Americans, the first question is, what's your name? And then after that, you either talk about your hometown, but most of the time, you ask them, what do you do? What's your name? What do you do? In that order. So for a lot of people, you know, their work is a big part of their life. And so that's the easiest thing to talk about. It's not too personal. Actually, for Americans, it doesn't feel too personal. Instead, if you talk about the family or hobbies or something first, it sometimes feels a little bit too personal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? So actually, Noriko, for this lesson, I actually took a video with one of my friends and we talked about work today. Let's look at it together.
Yes.
So, Andy, what do you do for work?
I'm a web developer.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
A little bit over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that seems like a really complicated job.
Yeah, it is, but you know, that's what makes it interesting. It's always a challenge, it's fun, and I'm always learning new things.
Yeah. So what is it about web developing that you like?
I think what I like about it is that each project I do is different. So there's, you know, different product or different design that I have to implement with code.
Okay.
So I like that it's always interesting and challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you know, so I'm a teacher at a school now,
Okay.
but I also have my own English teaching company.
Okay, yeah.
That's totally fine.
Sorry, I was like
I know, Andy, you don't care about me,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
okay. That's enough for the people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always sad when I watch that. All right, so Noriko, how much did you hear? How much could you understand from this?
3割ぐらいかな。
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's watch it again with jimaku, with subtitles.
Okay.
So, Andy, what do you do for work?
I'm a web developer.
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
A little bit over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that seems like a really complicated job.
Yeah, it is, but you know, that's what makes it interesting. It's always a challenge, it's fun, and I'm always learning new things.
Yeah, so what is it about web developing that you like?
I think what I like about it is that each project I do is different. So there's, you know, different product or different design that I have to implement with code.
Okay.
So I like that it's always interesting and challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you know, so I'm a teacher at a school now,
Okay.
but I also have my own English teaching company.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Sorry.
totally fine.
Sorry, I was like
I know, Andy, you don't care about me,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
okay. That's enough for the people.
Yeah.
Andy doesn't like me very much. It's kind of sad. I like Andy a lot, though. Andy, why don't you be my friend? No, but in all seriously, so there were some key phrases there that I want to look at step by step.
Yes.
If you follow these key phrases in this conversation pattern, no matter what the other person's job is, you can have a great conversation talking about their work. So we're going to look at how to ask what the other person's job is, how to respond to that question, and then we'll look at some follow-up questions and comments too. So when you want to ask someone about their work, what's the first question?
What is your job?
You can say that and it makes sense, but that what is your nantoka is kind of like katakurushi. It feels a little stiff. So if you say too many, like what is your nantoka, it almost feels like an interview. So a more casual, a nicer way to say it is to say, what do you do? Or what do you do for work?
What do you do? Or what do you do for work?
Right. So, I mean, I know you're a student, so you don't have a job yet, but...
I'm not a student.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what do you do for work?
I'm a waiter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You know, when you look at the video, I use the phrase, what do you do for work? You know, normally when you start the conversation, you can say, what do you do? And that makes sense for most people. But to be extra clear, you can say, what do you do for work?
What do you do for work?
Exactly. But the rhythm is more like, what do you do for work?
What do you do for work?
Great. So when you want to tell about your job, there are 3 patterns you can follow. One is just share your job. The other is share what you do at your job. And the third is share where you work, your workplace. Let's look at each of these step by step. First, the job. This is going to be your position, what people call you at work. So in my case, I would say I'm an English teacher. So what about you, Noriko? What do you do for work?
I'm a calligraphy teacher.
Great. Suzu, what do you do for work?
I'm a waitress.
Okay, great. The second pattern is to talk about what you do at your job. So in my case, I would say I teach English. What about you?
I teach calligraphy.
Great. So tell me, Suzu, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, right. Okay, so in the case of a waitress, if you're a waitress, you can say, I serve tables.
Oh, I serve tables.
And the final pattern is to share your workplace, not what your job is, but where you work. So in my case, I will say, I work for myself. What about you, Noriko?
I work for myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. You don't work at a school? Just by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Jiegyo, yeah. So, Suzu, in your case, where do you work?
I work for cafe.
Great. Now, here's something that's important to look at. You can either say, I work for a cafe, or I work at a cafe.
At a cafe. At と for 違
Mhm.
いは何?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. So, for means 何々のために. So it's kind of like you're working for the benefit of the cafe. At is just the place. There's no other sort of meaning or bunmyaku in it. So normally, if you like your work and you like to support the business, you can use the phrase with for. I work for a cafe. But if you don't really have any special feelings, you can just say, oh, I work at a cafe. So in your case, do you work for a cafe or do you work at a cafe?
At a cafe.
Okay. So this is an example of native speakers. They don't actively think, but they're just using words from their subconscious, from their senzai ishiki. So even these small things, they actually share what the other person is thinking about. So just by seeing if they use for or at, you can kind of see how they feel about their work. Then after I heard Andy's job in the video, I had some follow-up questions. So normally, if you just ask their job, you hear and you tell your job, and then you move on to the other topic, it's difficult to find things in common. Maybe your job is completely different. But if you want to find something in common, you want to make the conversation more interesting, it's important to go a little deeper. The first thing you can ask is, how long have they been doing that job? How long have you been doing that? So for example, let me ask you, Noriko, what do you do for work?
I teach calligraphy.
Great. How long have you been doing that?
About a year.
About a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly just like that. How long have you been doing that? Okay, now you ask me.
Okay. Arthur,
Mhm.
what do you do for work?
Oh, I'm an English teacher.
Arthur, how long have you been doing that?
I've been an English teacher for, I don't know, like 10 years now. A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's a third of my life right there. Man, I'm getting old. So, Suzu, how long have you been doing that?
3年ぐらい.
Okay, you could say for 3 years.
For 3 years.
Or for about 3 years.
For about 3 years.
Yeah, that 3 is kind of...
3.
Three, yeah, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Now, another question you can ask is, how do you like that job? For instance, please ask me, how do you like being an English teacher?
Arthur, how do you like teaching English?
It's really fun. I meet lots of interesting people. I meet people like you, and I have a fun time. そんな感じです。
はい。
Now, if you want to go deeper, you want to ask more detail, you can say something like, what is it about that job that you like? For example, I can say, what is it about teaching calligraphy that you like? So please ask me, what is it about teaching English that you like?
What is it about teaching English that you like?
Yeah, so I like, sharing my knowledge with people. I like seeing people grow. It feels really good for me.
Ah, nice.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Noriko, what is it about teaching calligraphy that you like?
生徒さんの成長を見るのが、一緒に喜ぶのがすごく楽しいです。
Ah, that's wonderful. So what do you like about your work?
I like the people.
Great. So let me ask you, how do you like your work?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. It's okay. You don't want to say too much on camera. It's okay. All right, well, that's it for today's lesson about work. この動画を見てる皆さん、他に仕事に関して聞きたいこと、相談したいことがありましたら、ぜひコメントを残してください。In the next video, we're going to look at
Hobbies.
All right. Until next time, 一緒に世界とつながりましょう。今回のレッスンでは仕事の英語で仕事の話を。This is wonderful. I love this so much. This is so fun.
英語、
自営業、yeah!
いい日本語。
Yeah.